Hello YouTubers, you're on a new action reaction, and today I'm going to briefly go over Die Hard with a Vengeance from 1995. So, Die Hard with a Vengeance is the second sequel to the 1988 classic Die Hard. Die Hard 2 Die Harder came out in 1990 and was directed by Renny Harlin. When it came time for a third installment, they ended up using a script written by Jonathan Hensleigh called Simon Says. Joel Silver almost used this as the sequel to Lethal Weapon. One of the sequels had this mad bomber named Simon having bombs all over Los Angeles, which was pretty much used in the beginning of Lethal Weapon 3. Instead of that, they used it for Die Hard. It was reworked to be a Die Hard sequel. What made this interesting was that for a brief number of years, this was the conclusion of the Die Hard series, of the Die Hard trilogy, so to speak. And what made this one special is that this one brought back John McTiernan directing. He turned down Batman Forever to direct Die Hard with a Vengeance, and I'm glad because this is a return to form. Die Hard 2, while it had its moments, it wasn't as good as Die Hard in my opinion, and in many other people's opinions. I know it kind of changed the formula. Die Hard 2 was still in that closed environment, much like the first, but this one just totally did something original and new, while also having that Die Hard spirit from the first film. Bruce Willis reprises his role as John McClane. You have Samuel Jackson join the cast as Zeus. And then Jeremy Irons plays Simon, a mad bomber who has a connection to John McClane's past. I love this movie. It opens up with Summer in the City by the Lovin' Spoonful. Hot times, summer in the city, back of my neck getting dirt and gritty. Yeah, every time I hear that song, I always think of Die Hard with a Vengeance. It opens up with a bomb attack in New York. John McClane is hungover and he has to go to Harlem. This guy wants John McClane to do something for him or he's going to blow up another area of New York. And he has to pretty much have this sign that has a really horrible racial slur against African Americans. Well, to do that, they had Bruce Willis wear a sign saying, "I hate everybody," and they digitally placed that word on the sign. So that's very interesting. In real life, he would be dead, but he somehow gets out of there with the help of Zeus. He's basically a radio shop mechanic. He has this shop that's kind of like a pawn shop, but it's like an electronics store. He's really good at electronics, and he joins John McClane. He gets John McClane out of there, and now they are tied together and have to stop these bombs. Simon wanted John McClane to die there. He has a special vendetta against him, so he needs Zeus and John to work together and try to stop the bombs before they blow up. So he has all these bombs placed all over New York City, and there's different ways to stop them. Such an adrenaline ride. The action is very well paced in this first half of the movie, and that's another thing. John McTiernan with this, the first two Die Hards were in a closed building in one environment. This is John McClane in an open world. What is it like? It's pretty much the opposite of Die Hard, and that's what makes it such a great sequel in my opinion. Is the fact that they get the formula from the first one and just totally throw it out the window. They just do the exact opposite, and that's what makes it different. That's what makes it refreshing. And we also get to see John McClane in his own jurisdiction. In the first one, he was in Los Angeles, and the second one, he was in Washington, D.C. We finally get to see him as an NYPD officer. And it's great. Simon had these bombs as a distraction. He wants to rob the Federal Reserve, pretty much New York's Fort Knox. And it's great. You find out later in the film that the FBI is involved. They were after Simon. They get to John McClane and they said, "Hey, we need you to find him." And John McClane's like, "What does this asshole want with me? He has nothing against him." And he's just like, Simon was born Simon Gruber, and you find out it is in fact the brother of Hans Gruber from the first Die Hard, which makes this Die Hard with a Vengeance. So it's a personal connection to not only John, but the first film that makes it really feel like a true spiritual successor to Die Hard. This is a fantastic movie, and I think it's a fantastic conclusion to the series before Live Free or Die Hard and A Good Day to Die Hard were made. I love Live Free or Die Hard, but A Good Day to Die Hard was just so bad that I kind of wish they ended it and left it alone as a trilogy. That being said, the action is very well done, the pacing, the music is very well done as well. It's not entirely on that Christmas setting, but it's still very well done. The chemistry between Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis is hilarious, and really brings a lot of levity to the serious moments. Lawrence Fishburne was offered the role of Zeus. He turned it down, and Bruce Willis recommended Samuel L. Jackson after working with him on Pulp Fiction. After seeing Pulp Fiction and getting to know him, he worked with him here. And that's cool because this is the first time that they're together on screen. They were previously in Loaded Weapon 1 and Pulp Fiction, but they didn't work together. So this is before Unbreakable. Die Hard with a Vengeance is such a fantastic return to form. The intensity, the school moments, the part where he's at the Federal Reserve and he figures out that there's terrorists there that pretty much are infiltrating that area. He shoots them. There's that whole car chase scene where he pretty much like rips out the hydraulics and then just turns around and just like shooting. Everything is very well done here. And ultimately, Bruce Willis and Samuel Jackson, John and Zeus are just put through hell against Jeremy Irons. And Jeremy Irons also has some vulnerabilities to himself as well as Simon. He has migraines and he also suffers from stuttering. So he's just like, I'm gonna kill you, Zeus Samaritan or something. He's stuttering and Bruce Willis is like, what are you gonna do? Huh, Simon? What are you gonna do? You're gonna kill me? And it really gets to Simon. He's really angry. He makes this personal. Even though he used John as a front for robbing the Federal Reserve, you could tell that this is a personal vendetta he has against John. And that's something very different because we always have John McClane looking for trouble, but in this installment, trouble finds him. And that's again, it's a flip on the formula of the first two, and that's what makes it so great. And the action is very well done. Bruce Willis gets put through hell. It was originally going to have a different ending where Simon got away and Bruce Willis, John McClane meets him later. It's a very cool dark ending, but you ultimately have him in Canada and John McClane gets to him. It's a good ending. I like the helicopter shootout. It does feel a bit rushed compared to the rest of the film though, and you can tell it's added on. I do, however, like the use of the Ant March, that Bruce Willis's performance is top-notch. John McClane, he was born to be John McClane, and it's so great having John McTiernan back directing. You could really tell the difference that this is a true Die Hard movie, and it's probably the best. It's up there with 1, and it's kind of hard which one to say is my personal favorite. 1 will always be the greatest action film ever made, but Die Hard with a Vengeance comes very damn close, and at points is a little bit better, if not on the same level, and that's something to be said. You also get a certain actor appearing in the film he was in the original Die Hard, and you get a couple of other nods. Holly is mentioned. He's meaning to call his wife, so it goes back to John kind of having marital issues like in the original. Overall, Die Hard with a Vengeance is a worthy success here, and as we can see, it could always get much worse. And I really love this. This is probably my favorite sequel, and I think the best sequel to Die Hard to get closest to the first film. So I give Die Hard with a Vengeance a 4 out of 5 and an A. Die Hard with a Vengeance is a well-crafted action film, and it's a great story. Even if you haven't seen the other Die Hard movies, you could really get into this movie as a standalone movie. If you have seen the 1988 Die Hard, you're going to love this movie even more since it has a personal connection with John McClane and the Gruber family. Jeremy Irons is great as Simon Gruber, and originally Dale Thewlis was going to play the role, and John McTiernan originally wanted Sean Connery. Sean Connery didn't want to play a despicable role. He didn't want to play a villain like this, and that would have been interesting to see Sean Connery, but I think Jeremy Irons does a great job. He has a different hair color choice, and you also have a bad guy, a henchman with him named Carl, so that's a cool connection as well. Die Hard with a Vengeance is an awesome movie. If you have not seen any of the Die Hards or Die Hard with a Vengeance, I highly recommend them. Seriously, at least watch Die Hard and Die Hard with a Vengeance, or at least Die Hard Trilogy. Stop after Live Free or Die Hard, or stop with this one, really. That's all you need to watch. Pretty much, watch any Die Hard where Bruce Willis has hair. That is my thoughts on Die Hard with a Vengeance. If you've seen Die Hard with a Vengeance, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think of the film? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you not like it as much as the first two? What did you think? Me, personally, I actually like this better than Die Hard 2. This feels more closely to the original while also being completely different in many ways. John McTiernan is a great filmmaker. And this is probably one of my favorite sequels. Probably my favorite Die Hard sequel. I loved it. I thought it was a great return to form. And that's my thoughts on Die Hard with a Vengeance. Again, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, click the like button and subscribe for more videos. Yippee-ki-yay.